Look at that, straight back from vapor blasting. Looks like he's just painted it silver. I can assure you he has not. So it's pretty cool. I like it. But what I would say, I don't know whether that's gouges that I've done in the past. And when I say the past, I mean young me. I'd probably gouge fuck out of it. But that's not going to be the reason why it's leaking or not sealing. Because as you saw in the video, none of it is sealing around there. So, what have we got? Bond. I don't know nothing about it. A lot of people reached out to me, thank you very much, on Instagram, and said Honda Bond or Volkswagen sump sealant. But most people said stop fucking around and use Honda Bond. And apparently this stuff lasts forever. I think the problem I was having is the surfaces are so flat, as you can see here. It's just compressing under the torque setting and just squeezing out. But something to do with Honda Bond doesn't go off, I don't think. So it stays kind of tacky, sticky, which makes sure you've always got a seal between the surfaces. So this is what I'm going to use. Now that little tube there, a Victor Rines is usually 2 or 3 times the size of that, and it's about 12 quid. That's my finger comparison. Yes, I do have big hands. Was £32.
Ah, it's really painful.
32 fucking pounds. That better work. But it looks old, doesn't it? It looks like a sort of packaging that doesn't need to be sexy. I can sort of believe it. I can sort of believe that, like, this is the one. And I'm going to leave it for at least 24 hours before I start the motor. First job, I've got to machine a little bung for that, or just machine the one I did have, and weld it on. Now, I'm kind of thinking, do I weld it on? Or do I make a nice fitting that screws in? Because at the back of this sump plug, you'll see there's a thread. Hard to see. Not hard to see, but kind of easier to see here. So I'm kind of thinking, hear me out, if I made a fitting that had a hex head, so I could use one of these, stick that to a nice bit of alley, I could have, look at that, that does fit nice though, doesn't it? That does fit nice. See, what I'm worried about is this is shit old cast alley, and I'm worried that I'm going to start welding that and this is just going to blow to pieces and just be awful. I'm going to have to use loads of filler and it's going to be disgusting. When I could try, first of all, and do a nice job of making a fitting that's really tight in there, I could double O-ring it. I could then seal the thread with some Loctite something or other, screw the fitting in, and then when I put the hose, the drain onto here, that could also be, well, it'd also be tightening up, right? So you'd never be in a situation where you've got to worry about it. And if I use Loctite oil stuff on that, and it's double O-ringed, will it ever leak? Or do I just weld that to that? But the problem is, this is, I want to say nice grade alley, you know, it's a bit of something, probably not great, but it's going to be better than this poor as shit. So, do I have a go at making something quite nice to screw in there? Or do I just bite the bullet and weld that to that and try and not fuck it right up? And I can put some heat into this first, right, and hopefully get some contaminants out. But this is old as well, it's old, so it's going to be full of contaminants, even though it's been, what do they call it? Vapor blasting, yeah. I forgot that. I keep thinking soda blasting. I don't know what the difference is. I think vapor, I don't know. Anyway, it's aqua blasting basically. It's water with some sort of media, 80 psi, the geezer said. It's come out quite nice. But anyway, this is a problem for me, and I can't move forward until I solve it. So I'm going to have a look at making a fitting quickly, if I can do one. I'll have a bit of bar stock like that, probably. In alley, I keep all my bar stock up here. Oh. So there's a bit of alley there. I want to try and do a nice job. So, look at that. The OD is bigger than what I need, so that is absolutely perfect. Let's start trying to do a nice little engineering solution. And if I fuck it up, I'll weld the fucker. And I'm not saying welding's not a nice engineering solution, but if you can make a nice part on the lathe and spend a little bit of time with a loved one, i.e. this one, why not, eh? Why not go for it? What I might try and do actually is use this fitting. I'll turn him down and then I'll weld something to that. I'll see if I've got the thread first. Need to do check the thread gauge. Anyway, I'm waffling on because my brain's going, right, let's do this, that, and that. Chocomel on deck, and I've got a fucking naughty coffee. Oh, also, I printed these the other day, and a few people liked them and asked if I'll print a set for them. Yeah, of course I will. Whatever you want. Where it sort of stops though is people ask me, oh, Matt, can you print me a set? And I'm like, yeah, of course I can. I've got all the way up to AN16, all the way down to, I think, AN3 or 4. When you ask me, can I print you a set? You probably don't need certain sizes. Just tell me exactly what you want and I'll bang it out. No drama. Because for this, like, this is a 10, 12, 12, 10 again. I've got a couple of 6s for the drains, bits and pieces. And I'll just print loads of these in the future. These are all ABS, so they're good with oil. They're not going to hold no pressure or nothing, but they just stop oil pissing all over me. Or stuff, this is what I wanted. I wanted to cap this, so I'm not getting stuff in here. But if you want them, of course I'll print them for you, or I'll give you the print file. Just tell me exactly what you want. Just say, Matt, I need 10 AN6s, 5 caps, 5 plugs, blah, 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 and I'll do them straight away, no drama. So ideally, I would like minimum 2 O-rings in that. I could seal that up. And I could even put a copper crush washer there as well, so because this one here don't leak. This is the return from the catch pot, from the catch can. So thinking. Anyway, I'm having a coffee before I expire because it's mid-morning and I need to crack on. I didn't even plan on doing any of this. This was not in my 1 month to players programming. So this is quite annoying, but at least I found it now, right? I'm not before the summer and all doing all this anyway. It doesn't matter. Let's crack on and get it fucking finished. Do you really want to hear the inner workings of my brain? Probably not, so I'll stop talking.
I am nuts, Jeff! Get with the program!
So I've started to investigate the thread in here, which is a 16 M16 by 2. It's quite a coarse thread, but it's a big one. So I'm just looking into it now, just exploring it. But again, these toolkits are worth their weight in gold. This whole thing was £24. It has, well, it goes all the way up to 18 by 1.5, and it's also got your you know, your dies and your taps. This is obviously not a quality set. This is not something you would tap something you really give a shit about. I mean, you could, but you know, if you're going to use a machine tap or something nice. But these are kind of like jobber taps, and I have a nice set of taps up there. But to have a range of sizes like this in good taps would cost you a fortune. So I've got these Chinesian ones basically, just for jobs like I'm doing now, trying to figure out the gauges, figure out the size. And because I've got a die with it, I'm going to use that on the alley because obviously it's alley. If I was going to use stainless steel, I would buy the exact one I need from a proper brand, but I don't. It's just alley. I'm going to put it in the lathe and it's going to be absolutely fine. Freestyling, but I think I'm going to go this direction. And if I'm pissed off in an hour's time, I'm just going to stick it on with the old Arctic Tigger. Here we are. But yeah, anyway, it's really important to get one of these sets because they're so cheap. And like today, I would have had to have ordered a tap or a die, because what I've got is I've got the tap stuck in there now. Not stuck, I've just run it through just to clean it all up because it's obviously never been used. But I'd have had to have, obviously I used the old thread gauge to find out it was a 2. But without having these taps and stuff on demand, you know, it puts you back a little bit. So anyway, that's my TED talk. Do what you want with it. But I think it's good advice. Oh, it's just started raining. Wicked again. Well, I'm listening to a good case files today, guys. Absolute mental. It's a cold case. Geezers are going to get convicted. They're fucking idiots. They did it. I don't know why people have to do it. Anyway, I've got a problem because I've just remachined this one, the one that I'd purchased in the past, and I can't get off. What I've done is I've remachined it, and I've machined out the existing O-ring channel groove, and I machined another one in it, put 2 of my own O-rings in it, and now it's stuck. So had I not cut that tab off, I could have just used this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld to the bottom of that. See, my problem is I can't make this thread. I can't make this jig, I think it's JIC jig, AN thread. I don't have a tap for it, I don't have a die for it, so I can't make that. So my problem is I'm going to have to stick a bit of material on the bottom here, put a nice thread on it, and then what I'll do is I will thread it so it pulls this in concentrically, basically down the centre line. That's what concentric means. If you didn't know, now you do know. Eccentric is like off centre, and I can't do this one-handed. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this off. Oh, we're just slung a bit of metal in my coffee. Get this out, because that proves the O-rings are going to seal. That is so tight. I know this is all going to get warm and expand, but that is how you sort of want it to be. Now, if I've got a thread on that that's also Loctited, the oil cannot get back that way. Is that a solution? Just decided to quickly put a tap on this. If I turn it out to 16, I use the sort of drill end of the lathe. Should have put gloves on. And then just basically, I use the flat of that on the flat of this to keep that perfectly flat on the end. I start the thread going in and I just back it in and out. I lock the tailstock on the bed, wind that out to keep pressure on the back of this, just to make sure that this is constantly flat, because obviously as you're cutting the thread, the die is moving into the material. So if you're winding that out at the same rate, obviously you're doing this like backwards and forwards because you're cutting the thread. You want to clear the thread while you're doing it. That's why I've got little grooves in it. Eventually it'll keep it totally flat. That'll be in there like that. Let me just show you, like this. Do that like that. And you wind that out. So that keeps the die in the little tool. I don't even actually know what this is called. Die holder, maybe? Keeps it totally flat and then keeps your thread pitch perfect. Otherwise, if that comes loose, so if you're loose on that, you could have your the pitch start to walk on the material. So this keeps it totally flat. Obviously that's all concentrically aligned through there, and it just keeps it nice. So then when you back this off like this, and just wind it out on the thread, there you go, got a thread. So now I'm just going to try this in the block and see what happens. Hopefully it fits. So this is my first test. I'm an hour in now. So I know the 16x2 is perfect. That's working. Obviously, I'll clean all this up, blah, blah, blah. As a test, it's pretty good. Now, the OD of that isn't ideal. That should be 19 on the money. That's quite tight. I mean, sorry, it's quite loose, look. But that doesn't really matter because this is just purely a test piece. So what I want to do now is I want to basically, I'm going to weld on. It's a shame I don't have a jig thread, otherwise I could make the whole piece. I'm just looking for it, I don't know where it's gone. There it is. So what I need to do is on the end of that now, basically, put some of that metal. See, that's loose as well, isn't it? It's all right. So once it's got the, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld a bit of metal on the end here. Then I'm going to measure it all, and I'm going to put that thread perfect, so that screws right in, pulls the O-rings up nice and tight. And if I can put a copper crush on that, I will. That'll be my next thing. I could machine that and put an O-ring around the top of that, but I don't actually want to because it's enough, right? That's going to be sealed. Double seal there. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Anyway, right. Right, so my quick and dirty plan is I'm going to do a shoulder on that, 3 or 4 mil, down to the OD of that, or the ID, sorry, the ID of that is going to be the OD. So that's going to slot on there concentrically, bosh. I'm going to then weld that all together. So that's like one big long thing. but I know that'll be perfectly central then. And then I'm going to match that size there. I'll machine the thread into it. So I'll turn that all the way down to 16, all the way up to where I need to be, and then I'll continue that thread all the way up. No, I probably won't. I'll part it off, and then I'll do the thread. So then that should be perfect. So what I need to do is I need 3mm extra on the bottom of that to bottom that out perfectly. And then from that, I then need to add 15mm of thread. So that being lower doesn't matter because that's not at 16mm yet. So that's a 12mm, well, it's just under 12mm. So I'll turn it down to 12mm so it all fits without any slop, nice and tight. So what I'll do is I'll do that now, weld it all together, and then I can finish machining it. Bosh! And now I've stuck the two bits together. So now I'm just waiting for it to cool down. And on 100 amps on the old Zetec Tigger. Fucking that machine, every single time I use it, that machine, oh, it's so good. I don't, no, I forgot they've got this one. I don't weld as much as I should. Well, I don't weld because I don't need to right now, but obviously the KA is going to force me into a lovely position where I'll become a welder. But every now and again I've got to stick some like shit alley together. I don't think that looks terrible. I'm going to spin it in the lathe anyway, but as a bit of shit stuck to a bit of shit, it's actually not too bad. Yeah, I forget how bloody hot it gets. I'll just end up sticking bits to myself. But anyway, that's good. I'm going to tidy this up quickly. But first, I'm going to have some lunch. Everything can just calm down. Everything can just calm down. Everything can de-escalate the heat level because it's all a little bit hot. And hopefully, I can then make a good job of this afterwards. And yes, I could have just welded this straight to this, but then there's the engineering challenge. I like to have a challenge. But yes, I could have done a nice bit there, cleaned it up, but even that feels a bit oily. So I think, well, if this doesn't work, I'll weld it. Okay? I'll weld it. But right now, let's over-engineer the living shit out of it. Let this cool off while we're having a bit of lunch.
Many unbearable hours later.
I keep hearing a weird noise, like a... I need to find out where it's coming from. It's in this garage somewhere.
Why are you crazy?
So this is the plug I've made. Now I have damaged this because I'm an idiot. This was on here so tight because I've been machining it that way. So all of the pressure I put on was going into this thread, which is not a bad thing, but it done this up super tight. So what this has now done, let me see if we can just do this quickly. What that's done is it's put two shitty marks on it, which I'm gonna now, because I don't have a mill / pillar drill that can tolerate lateral load, as in I don't have any of that stuff, I'm going to have to hand file down two flats on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a size of AN spanner, that's too big, one of them, and whatever that is closest to, I'm going to file that flat so I can use that when I need to undo this out of here. I'll be able to hold or undo the fitting off of that. I'll be able to hold that flat on the spanner, undo the fitting off of it, so then that's obviously not getting loose, and I can also then nip that off or nip it up into here. So that should never fucking leak again. Or I'm just going to lose my shit altogether and do something totally different. This is waffle time. You've got to love a bit of waffle. Even though I mangled it, the bottom one's alright, the top one's shit, but I mangled that in the vise. So I'll clean this up. It is warm. I'm going to give it a completely decontamination, clean it up by hand. And what I want to do is heat this up, like hot, a blowtorch, and then cap it and pressure test it. And that's it, that'll be done. Because if it survives a pressure test and being heated up to like 1,000,000 degrees, I can prove that it is not, there's no porosity in the weld that I've done. Doesn't look it, does it? It's pretty solid. You never know, but it is dirty. It's a lot of effort, isn't it, for one fitting, but whatever. Should have just welded it. So what I want to do is, the whole point I'm heating it up for is heat it right up so everything expands. So if there's any cracks or whatever, it'll show, right? It'll come out, and then I'm going to cap that. I'm going to put a bar of pressure up that with the smoke machine, and if that holds a bar and doesn't leak any smoke, this is just an oil drain, there's no pressure in it. But what that does is it means I can heat it right up, which means it'll get hotter than the engine will ever get. This is all dissipating heat anyway because it's alley. So let's just pretend it does 130 degrees. It won't. But if I get this like hot, and it still doesn't leak, we're golden. That's the plan anyway. So let's finish her off. Do a little bit of hand filing. Another reason why I need a mill. I could just go perfect. Can't be listening to fucking hard techno while I'm doing it either. So what I'm trying to do is prove that this doesn't have any leaks. So what I'm going to do is spray some WD on it. Basically get this, form a kind of seal. I'm going to spray it and see if there's any leaks coming out of it. Oh. It's 1.3 bar. Okay. So it's not leaking. Right, back to hard trance. Just a bit of the old brake cleaner. I mean, whenever you use one of these, you've got to use the whole can, don't you? It's not like you're saving it for another day. So what I want to do is, I've got a copper crush, which is perfect size of the OD, which I'll make sure it's centralised. I know it could be tighter in there, but don't worry about that. That is just to bite us up tight. I'm not worrying about that being the leak point. Got 2 O-rings, thread lock. 2 of these O-rings. That's what I'm going to use to put these in. Of course, this could damage the O-ring as I'm doing it, but I can only do so much. So I know that that O-ring's resting place is tighter than here, so it should be a nice tight fit in there. That's how it's going to sit. So you can see what I've done is it's really hard to see here, but in their resting place, but the O-ring still protrudes. You never want the O-ring to sit flat because there's no way for the oil to then stop. So you want that to compress against the inside of the hole you're fitting it into. See what I'm saying? So you see they stick out a bit. That should go on quite nicely. It's not bunching up, fits good. Lovely. This is apparently for oily environments. 542. And it stopped all the leaks on the front end of the car, so apparently if you leave this on the side here with air, it'll never go off. So obviously I want this to seal. I think it goes in the absence of air. I don't really fucking know. Shitloads. Now I've been known to strip stuff, so I'm going to leave that like it is. So that's got thread sealant, 2 seals and a copper crush. If it leaks, I will weld it up like a bastard. If it ever fucking leaks again, I might switch to a K20. No, I'm joking.